Hello, everyone. Hope you had a wonderful spring break and ready to get back to class here. So, I am going to be focusing on how to factor trinomials when a is not equal to 1. So, before break, we were focusing on factoring trinomials when a was 1, but now we're going to focus on when it's not. Okay. So, we're going to talk a little bit about the strategies that we did use before, but also there's some nuances or some new things that we're going to do here as well. So let's get into it. Before we do that, though, I just wanted to take this time as a reminder to go through this. So let's say our first, say if we have a positive number times another positive number, that our sum is going to be positive, and so is our product. Okay. Why is this important to have this chart for us? Well, it's just sometimes a good idea to say, okay, I have a positive sum, positive product. What do my factors need to be? Okay, that'll make a little bit more sense as we go through here. So we have a negative and a negative factor. So a negative plus a negative is a larger negative. A negative times a negative is a positive product. And then lastly would be one of each. So one positive, one negative. A positive times a negative has a negative product. And this one is not applicable, or I'm going to say it depends here. We can't really tell if this is going to be positive or negative because it depends on which one's larger. Again, so why is this important? Well, we can look at our A, B, and C values and able to make a decision on what to expect to get for our answers. So, just a really good idea to keep this, and if you don't have this, to have it recorded somewhere. So, four-step approach. So, we're going to focus on four-step approach to doing this, and there'll be quite a bit of overlap from what we did before. But again, like I said, there's going to be some new items or new approaches as well. I'll actually go over these four steps on each individual problem where you have a little context as well, as opposed to just reading these off without giving much context. So here's our first example. Okay. So the first thing I want you to do is identify A is not equal to 1. So in the past, we've just done 1x squared or just x squared, and we've gone through this process. So let's go ahead and do our first step here, which is multiply A and C. So we're going to multiply 2 times negative 6, and we're going to get negative 12. Okay. So what we've done in the past is we put up negative 12 here, and we've come up with numbers that have given us, or I should say, we come up with factors that give us a product of negative 12. So let's start with negative 1 times 12. Let's go with 1 times negative 12. Let's go 2 times negative 6. Let's go negative 2 times 6. There's going to be a little overlap here, no problem. 3 times negative 4. And negative 3 times 4. So you've seen this before. You've seen this strategy. So this is going to be the same. And then I put an S up here, so we know that we're going to get the sum of these as well. So negative 1 plus, I know it says multiplication, but that was to get for this. Negative 1 plus 12 is 11. 1 plus is negative 11. 2 plus negative 4. Negative 2 times 6 is positive 4. Negative 3 plus is negative 1. And this is 1 here. We need it to equal 1, so these are our factors here. So what we're going to do is we are going to rewrite this as 2. So we're on step 2 already. So we're going to replace this with 2x squared, which is what we originally had. Now, instead of plus 1x, we're going to replace it with plus 4x minus 3x, and then minus 6. So that's what we went ahead and did. We did the factorization part here, and then we replaced our positive 1x with 4x and 3x. So essentially, we just wrote it in different terms. Now we're going to split this apart. So I'm going to split here. When I did this, I was intentional. I could have put the -3 here and +4 here, but I want to think about the GCF. And I know that since both of these are even, I'm going to be able to take out a 2. So that's why I made the decision that I did. So what I did is I'm going to take a look here. I'm going to take out the split in 2, check, and then take out the GCF. So on the left-hand side, my GCF is 2x. So now I have left is just x, so x. And what I have left here is +2. On the right-hand side, I'm going to factor out a -3. What I have left here is an x +2. All right. So now, hopefully, let's take a look here. Inside the parentheses, we on both of them, they're x +2, and we both have different GCFs. So the common, what they have in common and what is in the parentheses is going to be one of the factors. So I'm going to go here, x +2. So since they both have these in common, it's going to be one of our factors. And then the other quantity is going to be the GCF. So 2x and then -3. Now we have officially factored this trinomial into 2 binomials. Now, if you would like to, you could go ahead and distribute and see to make sure that it equals that. Let's actually go ahead and do that here. So we want to make sure we get our trinomial that we started with here. So x times 2x is 2x squared. X times -3 is -3x. 2 times 2x is going to be +4x. Now, hopefully you can see that is in the middle. They're just written in different orders, which is totally fine. Then 2 times -3 is -6. So then we're going to combine likes. We're going to be left with 2x squared plus x, or 1x, -6. So after we would distribute this answer, we're going to get this trinomial. So we know that this answer checks out. So again, our final answer is right here in green. The quantity of x +2 times the quantity of 2x -3. Let's go ahead and try another one of these. Okay, so very similar setup. I should say example 2, so this is example 1. So if you feel confident already, go ahead and pause the video if you would like to try this on your own. If not, let's go ahead and get started here. So the exact same concept, multiply a and c. So 4 times 9 is 36. Okay, so in this situation, I have a positive product and a negative sum. So I need two numbers that add to be a bigger negative. However, their product is positive. So I know that my two factors both have to be negative. Please reference that chart we did earlier if you have any questions there. So I need two negatives that get me 36. I'm going to change up the color. That green is hard to see here. So I need two numbers multiplied to give me 36. They both have to be negative. Then I'm going to write the sum. This is -37, -20, -15. Perfect. That's what I need. So those are going to be my factors. So I'm going to rewrite this as so. I have 4x squared. I'm going to put the -12 next because I can see that both 4 goes into 4 and -12. That helps me with the GCF. So -12x minus 3x plus 9. Now, I went ahead and did that. So I'm going to skip down here to splitting it in two. So I kind of talked through why I did that. I could have put the -3 here, but then it would have been harder to get the GCF. Not harder, but wasn't be as clear. So now I'm going to split here. I'm going to factor out a 4x. I'm left with x minus 3. And again, I picked a color that's pretty hard to see. And then over here, I'm going to factor out a 3, a -3 actually. And then I have x minus 3. Very difficult to see. So what I'm going to do next is the last step, identify the factors. So you should see here that they share 1. So x minus 3, they're in both quantities on both sides here. So that is one of my factors. And then the other one are going to be the factored out GCFs. So we did that there. That was our answers. You might be saying, hey, Mr. Hoke, what if I chose, when I got to this step right here, what if I had the -3 on the other side? Could I still get an answer? The answer is yes. Let's go ahead and try that just to make sure to kind of put you at ease that it is important to set them up here, like intentionally. However, if you don't, that's okay. So let's go ahead and do this one slightly differently here. So I'm going to go do some erasing. Sorry, it takes a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to essentially exchange where the -3x is and the -12x. So let me go ahead and exchange them. So let's say instead we went with -3x here, then -12x. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and exchange those. So I look here, I can take out just an x. So I'm left with 4x minus 3. Right? Over here, I can factor out a -3. I'm left with 4x minus 3 as well. So I can see that, hey, both of these quantities are in common. So that's going to be one of my quantities for factoring. And then the GCFs now are x minus 3. So the reason I showed you that is if you make a mistake or don't really want to be super intentional with where you split up part 2, you can still get the exact right answer. Well, guys, thanks for listening. Again, welcome back. Hope you had a great break. And thanks again for listening to the video.